Hi, I'm Buck Stowers. Today I'd like to welcome Selwyn Topou. Selwyn's been a friend of mine for a while now, and Selwyn came to Big Boys on April the 6th, 2011. And I just want to say thank you, bro, for coming out, and it is really truly a privilege and an honour to be with you and speak about your journey today. And one of the first things that I'd like to ask you is what was the defining moment that brought you to Big Boys?
Well, I was sick before I came in. I had heart problems, and I always knew that I needed to lose weight. Just didn't know how until, and I heard about the program. I remember I rang you up and said, well, actually, my friend Susanna rang you up on behalf of me.
Yes.
And made an appointment, and because it wasn't really me, yes, I never turned up to that appointment. Yes. And I remember
this happens a lot, actually.
And so then I knew Ozone.
Yes.
And I knew him out of the program, and then I saw him. He had lost so much weight, and I didn't recognise him at first. And when I asked him how he had done it, he told me about the Big Boys, and then I remembered that appointment that I was supposed to come 6 months beforehand, and then that was what sort of really convinced me. And he invited me to the class to come and meet you, and yeah, that's how I.
And what was yours? Do you remember what your starting weight was?
Yeah, my first weigh-in, 263 kilos.
263.
Yeah.
I remember weighing you in.
Yeah.
And we all know that pain is a magnificent driver that can either trap you or create the urge to make a change. And what was the pain in your life that made you make a massive change?
Well, I remember that weigh-in as well, and I was shocked, well, I had recently come out of hospital, so I knew that my weight was up there, but, I didn't think it was that up there. I estimated myself to be around the 180 mark.
Yes.
And then when I was in the hospital and those early weigh-ins, I was like, man, that can't be. And so that was the initial shock, which sort of turned into motivation, also the health scare.
Well, what was wrong with your health, Sally? And for everyone that doesn't know Selwyn, we call him Sally, and we'll get to his nickname too, because it's symbolic of his change as well. So what was the health scares that you had?
So probably my main one was I was admitted to Middlemore with a condition called atrial fibrillation, which is a irregular heartbeat, but it was also very rapid. So on that day that they took me in, it was 160 beats per minute, and I was just sitting down, and I didn't know what a normal heart rate was. They're saying this is like 100 beats more than a healthy person should be, and so it was just all brought on by my big size and bad health. And
did you have anything else? Any high blood pressure or? Yeah,
so I had high blood pressure. I had my liver I had cirrhosis, fatty liver disease.
Yes.
What else? Oh man, I had everything. I was lucky I didn't have diabetes.
Yes.
Or gout and all that, but probably if I had all those things, if I was a smoker, probably would have gone.
Have died.
Yeah. You remember my first class? I came to class with a big medical tampon stuck in my nose because my nose just wouldn't stop bleeding.
Yes. And what were your thoughts? Because I know at that point in time, you were really worried about leaving this earth.
Oh, yeah. The doctors said if I didn't do anything, I'd be dead by Christmas. That was October.
Yeah. Well, fear is the great motivator or the great encompasser. How great was the fear of just starting the journey?
It was, I was scared, but when I came and I saw the guys, I saw all these big guys exercising, and I thought, oh, I can do this. you know, that was a great motivator. But you know, that was before I had started exercising, and so even on the first class, when I was a little bit like confident because seeing these big guys jumping and running, I was thinking, oh, I should be able to do it then.
Yes.
But you know, I came to my first class and oh man, that was hard. I sat there the whole time, and it was still hard. I mean, you guys just put me on that thing for like an hour, and I thought, oh man, I don't want to do this for an hour. But yeah. At the same time, I didn't want to do that for an hour, but I knew I couldn't do all that other stuff that, you know, all those other guys were doing. Like, they were doing relays, I think.
Relays, getting up and down off the ground.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't do that.
No.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, with your high blood pressure, getting up and down off the ground would make your blood pressure even higher.
Yeah.
You already had heart disease. You already had liver problems, and they're already saying that you could die in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And you're still here 4 years later.
Yeah. 4.5.
4.5. And how's the journey been for you, my friend?
It's been good. My first 2 years was really good. I dropped like, you know, heaps of weight in my first 2 years, but like since then, I've just been sort of floating around the same weight, but like other things have improved.
What's the most weight that you've lost?
90. I got down to 170.
170.
Yeah.
From 200. First of all, what was your heaviest weight?
While I was in hospital, they weighed me and I was about like 275.
275.
Yeah. But most of that I lost was fluid that I was carrying. I mean, they drained it out of my lungs. Like, I don't know, 15 kilos worth of pink stuff.
So Selwyn, you were going to die?
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're here with us.
Me too, yeah.
You've become such a big part of our family, you know, the Big Boys and Big Girls family and Genetics Gym. I must say that the journey, when I first saw you, I could see the fear in your eyes. And do you remember the first day that I weighed you in?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell that story?
Okay, yeah, so I mean, everyone knows I've been through the process. In those days we used to sign up with Buck, go in, do an interview with him. He'd give us that questionnaire and it talked about what are your goals, can you see the roadmap, do you know the journey. And I remember, you know, I went there for me. I wanted answers to help me. And you turned around and said like, well, first of all, you offended me when you said like, I don't know, I mean, I can't remember, but I mean, you called me like fat or something like.
I didn't call you fat, but when I asked you, how are you feeling, and you said great.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And
yeah, I said I was pretty good, I was feeling alright, and you sort of said, don't lie to me, like, you're a quarter of a ton, you're going to die.
You're going to die.
Yeah, and then I said, well, I was thinking, okay, yeah, well, I don't need to know that, that's why I'm here. And then I wanted to know, like, how can you help me? But then you turned around and said, like, I need you to help someone else.
Yes.
Something like that, and I was like, oh, man, I came here for me, like, not a marketing thing to like try and bring more people into the gym. But now I realise, you know, what it is, like, it's that principle, you know, to help yourself, you've got to help someone else, like, you know, the times when it gets hard,
yes,
if you can't do it for yourself, you've got to do it for someone next to you, you know.
Yeah. And how did that work? When you left that day, I knew that you were pretty annoyed.
Yeah, well, I was sort of annoyed because I was, you know, at the same time I was thinking like, man, I came to the gym for me, and this guy wants me to come and bring, like, do his advertising, bring someone else. But you know, I knew exactly at the same time who I could bring.
Yes.
With my brother.
And you came back the very next day.
Yeah.
With your brother.
Yeah, I went home and talked to Jace. I wasn't sure whether he was going to say yes. And I went home and asked him, and I was actually surprised that he's like, yeah, because I knew he needed it just as much as I did.
Yes.
He didn't have the health problems, but I mean, we were both 270s, like, you know.
Yes. And
he's just a little bit heavier than me, and I was surprised that he said, yeah, he wants to come.
I remember weighing Jason the very next day, and he was 275.
Yeah. He was shocked as well, eh?
He was shocked as well. And of course, the principles of off the couch big boys and big girls is that we give to get. The more you can help someone else, the more that you help yourself. And with Selwyn, I told him that I'm going to help you, but I want you to come back with somebody else, someone else that is suffering the same as you. And Selwyn was just like full of question marks, going, "Well, but I thought you were going to help me." And I said, I'm going to help you, but you're going to let me down, because for you to come in and help yourself by yourself isn't big enough. But when you are responsible for another human being's life, you tend not to give up. And 4.5 years later, you're a testimony to it.
Yeah.
I've got a few other questions too. We all know that big people, when they live a life of being big, we start to rationale different thoughts and different ideas, and we start to make excuses in our mind about what works for us. Well, what were some of the excuses and rationale that you used?
Well, I used to think that because I was bigger, I needed more food.
Yes.
You justify, like, that eating plan, it works for little people, but I'm bigger.
Yes.
I need more fuel, to feed myself. And so that was one of the things that you have to, get over that, eh? And it takes a while.
Yeah.
But, finally clicked. It's still a challenge today. The exercise part, that's the easy part now.
Yes.
4:30 every morning, no problem getting up, getting to the gym. But it's when you're away from the gym, that's the real bit.
Sally, I know that you've done some amazing things throughout your 4.5 years with big boys and big girls, and just going out there in the public and doing your own thing. But do you remember what it was like when you first started out, and how difficult the journey was? But not only how difficult it was, the achievements, those small achievements, have led to big ones now. Do you want to tell me a bit about those?
Yep. Okay. So you remember when I first joined, there was about 5 of us.
Yes.
And you guys called us the super big boys because we were actually too big to exercise with the other big boys. And so we had that stage that we did all our workouts sitting down. And at first, I thought it was a little bit demoralising that we couldn't join with the other big boys, that we had to have our own little group and do the easy stuff, what I thought was easy stuff. But I realised now that we had to do that to get to the stage, to be able to exercise with the other guys. And
if I could just break this down, we have a stage at the gym where the guys, where you normally do aerobics or a class, and the instructor stands on the stage. Well, our big boys would sit on the stage because they couldn't stand for more than 5 minutes in the very beginning. So as much as they wanted to be with the rest of the guys, we soon learnt that they would become dizzy, and it's pretty hard to hold up a guy that weighs 250 odd kilos. So the stage was a real safe place to be.
Yeah, that was our safe haven.
Yeah.
And we relied on it for everything. If you would call out to press-ups or sit-ups, we'd go to the stage because it was easier than doing it on the floor. We couldn't get off the floor in the early days, and and so one of my big milestones was actually getting up off the stage and doing a workout away from the stage and being able to not have to rely on the stage. And so for me, myself, I had to physically work out at the other end of the room, so that I didn't have the option to go to the stage.
Yes.
And I remember my first class where I was able to do a whole workout standing, and that was huge for me.
Yes.
Even other exercises that you never wanted to try just because you're not really sure, can I do it? Will the others laugh? And so for me, one of the early exercises that was, intimidating for me was the walkout.
Yes.
And so I remember the first time I had to do walkouts, Well, I tried to walk out. You know, all the boys, they clapped, and it was huge for them, but it was huge for me as well.
Yeah.
And you know, that just led on to doing other exercises, and you know, the more that you do to master those exercises, you grow in confidence.
Yes.
You know, because you conquer that unknown.
Yes.
And then, you know, just those little exercises are little milestones inside the class.
Yeah.
But then there are other milestones outside the class, and my first one I tackled was the round the base.
Round the base.
So
I remember the TV cameras were there.
Yep. So the TV cameras, they did a story on us, because we're probably the biggest people there that attempted it that day.
Yes.
And you know, I'd never done anything. That was 8.5 Ks, I think, and you know, it was a struggle for me to walk 100 meters before.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was the first. I've done the round the base twice now. Done the other ones. I've done the mud run.
Yes.
6 Ks through the mud.
And how was that?
Did every obstacle on it.
Yeah.
You know, like you had the option to walk around something, but I did everything. I climbed over those big walls and went across the rope bridge. So I mean, that was cool.
And what did you notice being a big man? What did you notice about being big and mud?
Oh man, I got stuck how many times? You know, lost my shoe down there. Everyone else, it's like they walk on the top, but you know, as soon as I step in, I sink. I find the bottom of that pit.
Yeah.
And
it's like quicksand.
Yeah.
And it just sucks you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, when people see that, it just motivates them.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of people that run past me and tap me on the back. You know.
Yeah.
And that just drives me.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You know. And what else have you done, Sally?
I've done around the Topou Lake relay twice.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I went down to Rotorua and did this is the one here, Ekiden relay.
Yes.
Round Lake Rotorua.
Yes.
Done that with the team. Last year, I joined the team with the county's Manukau DHB team.
Yes.
They sponsored us to go down and do the Iron Māori quarter triathlon.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Just heaps, like I work in mental health. I took my guys that I work with, I work in a home, rehab home. Yeah, I took 5 of them to the round the base this year and did it together with them.
You know, isn't it strange, Sally, how your journey is now about you pulling more people in and taking people that need help. Yeah,
it's a role reversal. You know, like when I started the journey, I relied on the people around me to carry me. You know, like what I used to, you know, I used to enjoy it, but I didn't like it at the same time. But going around the block, you know, when you go around the block, if you're the last one, people come back for you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
At the same time, I felt bad that they got to come back and pick me up.
Yes.
And so that was a motivator. Like, I want to get around the block so that they don't have to do extra work to come back and pick me up.
But there's always another person. Like, now that you're not the last one, and you haven't been the last one for a long time, there is someone else that needs you to go back and get them.
And that's what I love about the program. It's my turn to give back to them.
Yeah.
The roles have reversed, you know, like, and I love that now I can be the one to carry those people.
Yeah, wonderful.
Because people did it for me, I've got to do it back for them.
You know, the good old-fashioned Christian principles of you give to get, and we go back for the last one, we all come home together, and I've watched your journey, and I've watched you become more courageous, attempting more things and more things and more things, and I can't help but be so proud that I remember your first day and your first week and your first month and your first year were hard. And the walk down the road and stopping so many times and getting 100 meters away from the gym and to come back again took more than an hour. And but the pain that you were in.
Oh, demoralizing as well, you know, for your own confidence. Yeah.
But, you know, I know that word demoralizing is such a real huge, horrible word, because if you didn't come back, where would you be?
I don't know.
I'm so glad you did. You know, Sally, there are more people out there that you've been affecting now, the same way that the big boys and big girls that could move in our class, now you're doing so much more, and you're working in health, and you're a living example of what we need to do and how we need to do it. You know, from heart disease, high blood pressure, cirrhosis of the liver, and they said that you may be dead in 2 months. And you came into the gym, and he used to bring doctor's certificates into it. I don't know if we can mention this, but what happened from there?
That was my first day, I think.
Yeah.
Because during the weekend, I had been admitted to I went to the A&E, and they had, because my nose wouldn't stop bleeding. And I thought I could make it stop myself, but you know, after 3 hours, I thought, oh, I better go. So I went there, and they said, I said, I've got a class starting tomorrow, a gym class. And when I said it was the big boys, the doctor that I was with, he goes, oh, I know Dr. Sam. I'll write you a note.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool, you know, get off my first gym class. And so I remember bringing my note to class. I had that thing in my nose, and I had a whole... And I thought you guys would apply like a bit of sympathy.
Half of Darth Vader and half of, you know, those rabbit sort of creatures that jump around, and he had a surgical mask over his face.
Yeah, and I remember I showed my certificate and said, I'm here, but I can't actually...
Yeah.
But at least I came. You know, I thought I'd get some sympathy, but...
Yes.
I remember you and Darren stopped the class and like, hey guys, look what we've got here. And, you know, everyone started like chanting or laughing and chanting, rip it up, rip it up. And I was like, man, that's fine. I'm going to take that to work as well.
Yeah. And so what happened to it?
Yeah, you guys ripped it up and threw it in the bin.
I'd like to apologise for that day.
I finally accept your apology.
Let it go. You know, what would you like to be remembered for? You know, we've got another 40, 50 years on this planet, but when we finally go, what is it that you'd like to be remembered for?
I'd like to be remembered that, you know, I helped people, you know, that I could give of myself to them. Yeah.
Well, you're doing that now, bro. You know, all I can say is that you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration not just to me, but to so many people that need to hear your story and need to follow your example. I'd just like to say thank you. This is selwyn Topou, a good friend of mine, and we call before we go, we call you Sally. And why do we call you Sally?
Well, everyone has a nickname at the gym. You guys gave me my first nickname. It was Libra Fleur. I didn't like that, and so you guys gave me time to think up a nickname, and so I chose Sally the Dump Truck.
Sally the Dump Truck.
If you don't know who Sally the Dump Truck was, he was a sumo wrestler, big islander guy.
Yes, one of the greatest.
Yeah, one of the greatest. Really big fella, and I like that dump truck analogy.
Yes.
You know, it's time to dump all the baggage, the weight, all the problems, the obstacles, and, you know, move on.
Wonderful.
So that name just stuck, Sally.
Sally. Yeah. With big boys and big girls, we pick a superhero name and we have a superpower. And Sally's has stuck with them. And I'd like to say thank you to Sally. It's been a real privilege and an honour to be speaking with you like this, because it's something we don't get a chance to do, to debrief over the last 4.5 years. And you know, if many people could just watch this and be inspired by it, by this man's courageous journey, then you'll be the next one speaking about your courageous journey. Yeah, but Sally, thank you so much.
Thank you, Buck.
God bless, bro.
Appreciate it.